Well, it's Tuesday at 4 o'clock, which means it's time for the best and most serious quarterback ranking in all of sports. Briefly, there was a tomato can fest in Dallas, a just miss in Philly, and yes, 2 more interceptions in New York from Mac Jones. But alas, we trudge onward to discover who's climbing, who's crawling, and who's falling as we ascend Mahomes Mountain.
Thank you, as always, Kevin Wildes, for putting so much effort into these great introductions. I mean that sincerely.
I don't know if they're great. They're something.
No, they are something. All right, off the mountain. Listen, I got to be honest with you. It's hard to see how any of these guys make it back on the mountain. I don't see a path for some, like they've never been on it, like Jake Browning. For Mac Jones, it's a shame they ever once were on it. For Tim Boyle, he didn't even know there was a mountain. He's just hanging out. All right, bottom row, Kenny Pickett. Shout out to you, buddy. Maybe it was all Matt Canada's fault. Also, maybe get your wide receivers to stop openly revolting against the team. George Pickens 1 week, Deontay Johnson this past week, but Kenny Pickett gets on the mountain. Wildes' guy, Sam Howell, about to join Wildes' other guy, Mac Jones, off the mountain entirely. Passing yards be damned. The guy just can't stop turning the ball over.
Yeah, but
you told him not to throw the ball, Deron Bland. He couldn't stop himself. Level 6, 3 of my favorite guys slip. But the mountain is fair. The mountain plays no favorites. Geno, Baker, and Josh Dobbs. Oh, man, did midnight come pretty fast on Josh Dobbs last night. Yes. Geno had a rough night. Baker suffered what looked like a gruesome ankle injury early on, but as Baker often does, fights through broken bone, shattered limb to try to fight his team back, but they lost. Jordan Love almost moved up the mountain. Justin Fields showed a couple flashes when he wasn't throwing wide receiver screens. And Aiden O'Connell, I got to tell you, little flashes. A few moments for Aiden O'Connell in the beginning of that Raiders game. All right, level 5. Oh, goodness. I'm old enough to remember, a Riley Kevin Wildes turning to me, what more do you want from Jared Goff? You're just going to make fun of his hands? What more do you want from Jared Goff? And I said, for him to show that he can handle pressure, not like metaphysical pressure, but actual pass rush at all. And 2 straight weeks he got pass rushed. He had 6 turnovers. His tiny hands kept dropping the ball on Thanksgiving like they were covered in turkey grease. He drops down the mountain. Matt Stafford moves up the mountain healthy. And Kyler, even in a loss, I just looked at it and I said, you know what? Study habits be damned.
That's right.
He's a top 15 guy. And so he moves up on the mountain. Now to level 4. All right, let me explain the Caleb Williams thing for a moment, because he didn't even play this week, which I think was a good moment for everyone to stop hyperventilating about his relationship with his mother, the bad USC defense, and whether or not he shouldn't go number 1 in this draft class, and remind you of this. A year ago, we can show it to you, Caleb Williams had one of the greatest college football seasons ever. This year, he had 90% of that year, and everyone's down on him. The touchdowns were down a touch. The passer rating's the same. The yards per pass is up. The yards per game down a bit. The completion percentage up. The generational prospect he was a year ago, he is still today. And if we go back to the mountain, unequivocally, there is nobody on the levels beneath him that you would even consider rather having, and I don't think there's anyone on the level with him you'd rather have moving forward. We can discuss that another day.
Wow.
Level 3. These guys are all superstars. It goes without saying. They are all either MVPs in Lamar's case or future MVPs in the AFC South case. The Prince with 6 total touchdowns, averaging 315 yards per game in the last 2 weeks. C.J. Stroud has 2 of the best passes of the year that didn't count. The touchdown a few weeks ago off the broken play in the end zone, and a 68-yard in-the-air dot to Tank Dell that got called off because illegal motion. By illegal motion, they mean only Tyreek Hill's allowed to do that motion. I've been seeing him do it all year. It's the craziest thing. All right, level 2, MVP candidates. Probably in a lot of circles, the top 2 MVP candidates. Dak continues to ascend with great play. Jalen continues to maintain with clutch play, even if the overall game isn't great. And then atop the mountain, it goes without saying, the king himself once again sees his team needs him. And comes through as he nearly always does. Another brilliant game by the best quarterback we have ever seen, and the namesake of the mountain, one Patrick Mahomes. Greg Jennings, your thoughts on the mountain, my friend?
I like a lot of what you did there with the mountain. The one guy, and I'm gonna get some pushback, but that guy C.J. Stroud is. Forget the mountain and what the order of the mountain is. He's simply the second best quarterback in the game.
Wow.
That's too
And
much.
he would be third if Joe Burrow were healthy.
Okay. Wow.
C.J. Stroud, I know we're
I
seeing,
like it, Greg.
our eyes are a little foggy because he lost to the Prince, but he outperformed the Prince.
It was
We're not
close.
going to talk
It was
about
pretty close.
He outperformed the
Pretty
Prince.
close.
I mean, 304.
They don't think that.
Two
They just scored
touchdowns, a
those
rushing
guys over.
touchdown.
Prince had
He
326
drove-
touchdowns.
364.
How many touchdowns?
364. Thank you.
One
Appreciate
touchdown,
that.
one
One touchdown,
interception.
one pick.
But he drove his team down, just missed the field goal, going to overtime, and then we'll see what happens. But when I look at where he started, off the mountain, rookie, with the worst situation, one of the worst situations in all of football, all he's done is continue to build a resume and a case that lets me to believe he's one of the best. And the only guy that's been doing it better, and because of the resume that he has before even this season and the resume that he's putting together this season, is Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah,
like
very good.
C.J. Stroud he is that guy. And he's the second best quarterback in all of football. I know we're in love with what Dak has done. I'm not discrediting it. Dak is having an MVP caliber year. So is Jalen Hurts. But I would take C.J. Stroud right now above any other quarterback outside and not named Patrick Mahomes.
Well, listen, that is an incredibly compelling case. I do think he has a very strong argument that if everyone were a free agent but their contracts stuck with them, that he would be the second quarterback taken. That it would be Mahomes, people would deal with the contract, but then Stroud, because he's on a rookie deal, Trevor's on a rookie deal, but he's almost done with the rookie deal. I also think if you remove contracts from it, I am big on wow plays as long as you don't have as many wow plays as yikes plays.
Yep.
And so Josh Allen has as many wow plays as anyone, but then also as many yikes plays as anyone. CJ had the one game that they won anyway, where he had the three, like almost back-to-back-to-back interceptions. Aside from that, he is making 9 out of 10 degree of difficulty throws and taking care of the ball. So I'm not going to have a lot of beef with what you said there. I don't know if I'm quite ready to say he's the second best quarterback in football, but I talked about this morning on very popular What's Right with Nick Wright that one day somebody asked, could he overtake Trevor in the AFC South? You guys know how much I love Trevor. Absolutely he could.
Could
that is
Like a field goal away, like 4 inches
He
away.
may have already
that is
done that.
Again, that is a quarterback win.
Yeah,
as
but then you win the
opposed to-
game, and then it's like, well, I just beat you head to head.
Okay.
Twice.
Okay. So you're convinced Trevor's better than CJ because he beat him this week, even though CJ beat him the week before. But you're just locked up in a logical fallacy wrapped in a riddle. Go ahead.
Okay, C.J. Stroud, good take, Greg. I'm with Nick. I don't know if I'm ready to go second best, but I am ready to go that he's not the AFC South quarterback I got an issue with. He's not the one I got to motivate weekly. All right, that's the Prince. And I'm motivating with tough love, Nick. So I'm dropping it. I'm switching him and Josh Allen. All right, the Prince goes down a level. Josh Allen still leads the NFL in touchdowns with 33. That's a lot.
And fired offensive
and
coordinator.
because I used to be a reporter, and you had to develop sources, I got some sources on the committee.
Oh,
all right,
here we go.
And
There's no committee for
you
this.
say that. There's a shadow.
Just
There's a shadow
me.
committee. All right.
So confused.
And they have told me why you deny it.
Take your
They have
St.
said
John's
from
horses.
left to right means something.
That.
You know,
has
Nick likes
been
it. Oh,
rumored.
the level is the level. All right,
the
the
Reddit
Prince,
boards.
Stroud, Lamar, you can throw him in there however you want. No! My sources say that the one on the left means you're better. So I am moving Lamar over to where the Prince should be. All right, and here's the deal. All right, Lamar Jackson, Nick, you like to disparage you. He has Trevor beat in completion percentage this year,
that's good.
yards per attempt this year, touchdown. He actually has more touchdown passes than Trevor Lawrence, even though he throws it
By
6
how
times,
many?
6 fewer times. One, but he throws it. He throws 6 fewer passes a game.
But he's also
and he
played
has
one more
fewer
game.
interceptions. All right, so Trevor's got 12 touchdowns, 7 picks. Lamar has 13 touchdowns, 5 picks. He's got a higher passer rating. He's got more rushing yards per game and more rush TDs. Only thing Trevor has over him are yards per game, and that's not that much of a difference. And he throws it a lot more than Lamar. So Lamar is better than Trevor at this point.
Okay.
Trevor maybe one day will be a star. He ain't that yet.
All right, you're
So
asking me to drop Trevor Lawrence after a game. He had 380 yards of total offense, 2
know, but I
touchdowns. You're asking me to do that.
Strategic.
He had
You're trying-
one passing touchdown and 1 pick.
I know.
And
You are
if
not.
it's about yards, then let's put Sam Howell
Wait a
at the
second.
top of the
Wait,
pack.
no, it's also take care of the football. But I know you're not all of a sudden in an argument for Lamar Jackson going to say Trevor didn't have 2 touchdowns because only 1 was throwing, when all year long when it comes to Jalen and Lamar, I've heard about the rushing touchdowns. That's first of all. Second of all, you guys told me yesterday that you were not that impressed by Josh Allen's performance because he lost. Now you want to move him up in a loss and move Trevor down in a win. Once again, Greg, this is the burden.
You're putting words in my mouth.
This is the burden. Well, you said that you thought Jalen was better than Josh Allen.
One guy won the game, one guy lost.
That's not saying Josh wasn't
not
good.
being Mr. Consistency is sometimes this side of the table gets so confused over the things they've argued, they're arguing against themselves. And also, lastly, the mountain, much like the tiers, are not left to right.
Oh, no.
They are top to bottom. We have international viewers who read right to left.
You got some leaks.
There's no leaks.
You got some leaks on this. It's the shadow.
Tomorrow's franchise. Okay, so I worked long and hard at this. And some backstory here. I said, I want to move Purdy up on the mountain. And everybody started yelling at me. I took my earpiece out. My ear was bleeding like that meme. I said, shut up.
Is that what you said?
I put it on mute.
Oh, on the call this morning?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
I put it on mute. I said, shut up.
I heard you say shut up, but I thought you were talking to your chauffeur. I had no idea.
Here's what I came up with. Purdy puts the W's in wow factor. You like that? Because they're like, well, I don't care what he's doing. Show me some wow plays. Okay, here's a wow play from the fourth quarter. According to Kyle Shanahan, I couldn't believe he was throwing it. We're all holding our breath as soon as he lets it go to Brandon Ayuk. And guess what? It's sick play. You know who Brandon Ayuk reminds me of coming out of college? Greg Jennings. So Greg, come on my side. All of a sudden, looks like Aaron Rodgers out there. And then I went through his numbers. So anybody wants to talk about numbers, they're like, well, he's number 2 in this, and he's number 4 in this. You know why? Because the shadow figure lurking all around is Brock Purdy. Number 1 completion percentage. Number 1 yards gained per completion. Number 1 air yards per attempt. TD percentage, number 2. Russ is number 1. Russ out there balling. I thought he was Russ. So who would I want to replace him with? Justin Herbert. Why is Justin Herbert better than Brock Purdy?
Because we have eye.
Oh, eye test now? You're an eye test guy?
I'm in every. You just said to Brew, it's a rich tapestry.
You're an eye test guy.
Listen,
one guy's 4-7, one guy's 8.
No, that is the team.
Purdy has 45 more yards on 100 fewer attempts.
Wow. Yes.
Thank you.
Wow. That's great.
And eye test wise.
And the Niners.
I look at the scoreboard. I said, "Woo, that guy won."
All right, you are asking to move Brock Purdy up in a game. He had a pick 6 that they had total control of. He threw 200 yards, and he had an 80 passer rating. The only reason you're arguing to move him now, he had what I agree with you. That throw to Ayuk was great.
Yeah, wow.
And he had 1 wow and 1 yikes in that game. They had total control of. Like the reason we on the call tried to get you not to do this was one of his worst games of the year, and you're arguing.
Even then, it was pretty good.
It was not. He threw for 200 yards and had a pick 6. That was not pretty good, Brew. And 80 passer
but
rating
you want to see him have a pick 6 so he can battle back.
Is not.
Trevor
he should start the game with a pick 6 and then dig
and you guys killed him.
Yeah, I'm trying to motivate him. Good job, Wild.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.